how to change your warped brake rotor. So anyway, I got this all part ready, so every time this thing spun, there was a high spot on it, and it caused my brake pedal to vibrate, and this high spot got worse and worse until it makes my dash vibrate when I'm putting the brakes on. So you gotta take the rotor off and get another rotor. But anyway, I already took this apart. I didn't show you how to take it apart, but I gotta go on my donor vehicle down there. It's got new rotors. So I'll take a rotor off and swap it with this rotor and show you how to change your brake rotors on your work van. Yo. Here's the rotor and caliper with the tire off. So the first thing you do is get a big screwdriver, put it between the rotor and the caliper, and push the piston back in the caliper. So you just pull it back evenly, a little on top, a little on the bottom. There. Now it's loose. Chevrolet van, the calipers are held on with 2 bolts with a 3/8 Allen key. So you just get an Allen key socket, 3/8, and you undo this bolt and this bolt. Okay. Caliper, take the caliper off. Just let it hang over there by the toes. And now the rotor is free to take off. The first thing you do with the rotor, pop its dust cap off. It's got a sheet metal dust cap right here. And just work away carefully and don't damage it, because that keeps the crap out of your bearings. And once the dust cap's off, that will expose the bearing nut. Grab some paper towel, wipe some of the grease off so you see what you're doing. Just like so. There. And there's a retaining nut, a washer, and a cotter pin. So grab some pliers. Carefully straighten out your cotter pin so you can pull your cotter pin and reuse it. And then the nut should be not tight. Then you just loosen the nut. And you take your bearing washer off. That's next. Use a little screwdriver and just work it out. It's a pretty tight fit, so you'll just clear the threads there. It's off. Oops. If you drop anything in dust or dirt, you gotta wipe it down. Outer bearing. That's your outer bearing. Now the rotor should just slip off. Just like so. And the inner bearing is held in by the dust seal. So if you don't have to, don't take the inner bearing off. Beauty! So now, unwarped rotor, warped rotor. So just put your warped rotor on your parts vehicle so you can still push it around. And we'll show you how to reinstall it. Okay, so now we got our spindle. Wipe your spindle nice and clean with clean paper towel. So all the dirt and grime has gone off it, so clean. And then also your donor rotor, clean the dust seal the best you can so no dirt gets in there. Make sure no dirt gets in there. So after you got that wiped down, take brand new grease. And you put a little bit of grease, all-purpose bearing grease, on the inside of your bearing. Let your spiders come out. Take your finger, spread it all around so it's on the bearing evenly. So the old stuff was red and this stuff's green. So green must be more environmentally friendly. Okay, so you got new grease in there, dust seal's clean, spotless, and this boot the dust seal rides on has no dirt or sand on it. And then you take your rotor, just slide it on there. There. Just pump some grease in there. There. Take your bearing. Stick it in all the grease. There it goes. And it sets way in there. And then the face of the bearing packed with grease. Because you're going to put the washer on there and you're going to put a little bit of torque on there. Force that in. What's nice too, some guys don't, put a little bit of grease on the threads your caliper nut so they don't rust. The next time you do a brake job, it's easy to do. Okay, now the tire's back on, caliper's back on, rotor's all in, nice and greased. Now you left the nut exposed because you want to adjust the tension of the bearing. So a lot of people make the mistake of putting this nut too tight and then burning out their bearings. So what you're supposed to do is snug it up with pliers until there's no play. And you can check for play when the tire's on by rocking the tire back and forth, and it should go click, 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 click. See? No play. So what you do is you got to get the cotter pin in, so you don't tighten it to the next available hole to get the cotter pin in. What you do is you back it off to the next looser hole, which is right there, which only turned like an 8. And now give it a nice spin, shake it a bit, and then check for play. It should be just barely perceivable. Click, click, click. Like a looseness. Yeah, right there. Put your cotter pin in. Nicely greased. Your cotter pin's at the right position. And you got a slight movement. So that means that your bearings aren't binding, but they're slightly loose. And that's it. Put a little bend on the cotter pin. And that holds the nut at its position that you just put it at, so it can't tighten or loosen. Take your cap, your dust cap, and gently tap your dust cap back on without distorting it from getting dust. A lot of people hit it on the round part. It's best to use a screwdriver and hit it on the flat part so you don't dent in the round part. More professional install too. Good luck. There, you're done.